So you're going 120 miles per hour driving a loaner car from a Toyota dealership and your accelerator is stuck. You're trying to brake, but the car isn't slowing down. The freeway is ending and you're approaching the intersection with stopped vehicles. No, this isn't a scene from the movie Speed. And no, you don't wake up from a horrific nightmare. You are actually living the nightmare. On August 28, 2009, this actually happened to Mark Saylor and his family. I have to warn you, what you're about to hear is horrific, but true.
We're going 120, Mission Gorge. We're in trouble. We can't, there's no brake.
Okay.
Gorge, end freeway, half mile.
Okay, and you don't have the ability to, turn the vehicle off or anything?
We're approaching an intersection. Hold on. Pray.
The call ended with the sound of a woman screaming before the car crashed. This fatal 911 call lasted just 17 seconds. Tragically, to avoid hitting other vehicles, Mark drove the car off into a ravine, instantly killing all 4 passengers. The recording of this fatal call went viral, and everyone, especially the relatives of the family, blamed Toyota. The scandal broke wide open, and pretty soon, thousands of reports flooded in. Toyota recalled 12 million vehicles worldwide in 2009 and 2010 as the scandal spread and tarnished its once stellar reputation. In 2014, the company paid $1.2 billion to avoid prosecution for covering up information about problems with unintended acceleration that the FBI said Toyota knew was deadly. Totally Toyota's fault then? Not as cut and dry as you might think. Although we cannot bring back these innocent drivers and their families who died from the sticky pedal crisis, I need to explain the whole story and the part Toyota played in all of this. At the time of this scandal, 2 theories emerged to explain why these pedals suddenly had minds of their own. One involved software malfunctions, while the other blamed floor mats that slid around and pinned the pedals down. Shamefully, Toyota did not initially recall and fix the issue for all models it affected. As a result, Toyota reached a record $1.32 billion settlement to resolve a criminal investigation into safety issues. Believe me when I say, it gets worse. The Japanese car maker admitted it misled United States consumers by concealing and making deceptive statements over the 2 safety issues that caused cars to accelerate even as drivers tried to slow them down. U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder said Toyota's conduct was shameful. It showed blatant disregard for systems and laws designed to look after the safety of consumers. Rather than promptly disclosing and correcting safety issues about which they were aware, Toyota made misleading public statements to consumers and gave inaccurate facts to members of Congress. When car owners get behind the wheel, they have a right to expect that their vehicle is safe. If part of the automobile turns out to have safety issues, the car company has a duty up front to tell car customers about them, to fix them quickly, and to immediately tell the truth about the problem. Toyota violated this basic compact. In reaching the settlement, Toyota admitted it lied when it told both the public and US safety regulators in 2009 that it had addressed the root cause of the problem by fixing floor mats that could trap the accelerator. The Japanese car maker admitted it misled the United States consumers by concealing and making deceptive statements over 2 safety issues that caused cars to accelerate even as drivers tried to slow them down. The company also concealed from the public and regulators another type of unintended acceleration caused by pedals getting stuck, officials had said. Toyota had canceled a design change to address the issue in the wake of the San Diego accident. Idiots. Someone will go to jail if lies are repeatedly told. I can't support this, one Toyota employee had said after meeting with regulators, according to a statement of facts filed with the settlement. Prosecutors filed criminal charges against the company, but agreed to defer and drop them if the company allowed an independent monitor to review its safety practices and if it abided by the terms of the deal. Toyota was effectively put on probation for 3 years by U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, whose office conducted the investigation. Bharara stated it cared more about savings than safety and more about its own brand and bottom line than the truth. The settlement resolved a 4-year investigation by U.S. authorities, but the problems date back to at least 2007, when the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened an inquiry into the Lexus ES350 model after reports of unintended acceleration by the vehicle. But Toyota's statements about the recall misled the public because it did not recall all the cars susceptible to the problems caused by faulty floor mats, prosecutors had said. A Toyota engineer concluded that the top-selling Corolla was among the worst vehicles for potential floor mat entrapment, but the model was not included in the recall. However, floor mats are only a small piece of the puzzle, and I don't need to tell you the other side to this argument. Interestingly, this is the subject of famed writer Malcolm Gladwell's most recent revisionist history podcast, a series that explores the overlooked angles from some of history's biggest stories. Gladwell's conclusion provides a poignant lesson for today's automakers and drivers, but unfortunately, it's one that often isn't heard. But according to Gladwell, the software explanation doesn't hold up, considering the fact that multiple tests have shown that even when a driver is pushing the throttle to the floor, hitting the brakes will stop the car. Gladwell stated, "If your car is suddenly and mysteriously accelerating, all you have to do is step on the brakes, because brakes beat engines." He actually put this to the test by flooring the gas pedal in a car and slamming on the brakes while it was still floored, and the car stopped. Car and driver did the same, but with a powerful sports car, and again, the brakes ended up overpowering the engine. So, if Gladwell is right, why couldn't Mark Saylor stop his car that day? I know this is going to sound absurd and controversial, but the only explanation could be is that he never put his foot on the brake. Just go with me on this for a minute. When you drive your car, you become used to the pedals in that specific car. Some call this muscle memory. Your mind goes into autopilot. The vast majority of these cases were with people driving unfamiliar cars and not fully adjusted to the car. When they put the foot down to press the brake, they sometimes unintentionally press the gas pedal instead. An investigation by the Department of Transportation in 2011 found that floor mats only accounted for a small fraction of the accidents. The real culprit, according to Gladwell, human error. More often than not, drivers who reported that their accelerators were stuck were inadvertently flooring it and thinking that they were pressing the brakes. Furthermore, data from many of the black boxes from cars involved in incidents of unintended acceleration showed that in most cases, the brakes were never even touched. The drivers who had experienced the sticky pedals were often in vehicles that were new or unfamiliar to them, or for whatever reason, they just got confused. However, one of the more frustrating aspects of this whole fiasco was the media's response. Instead of alerting drivers to the potential dangers of confusing the accelerator with the brake, which could happen to any of us, the focus was on Toyota's cover-up, the scary and unpredictable software in cars, and of course, the floor mats. So, to eradicate human error, could self-driving cars put an end to the risks and the controversy? Although we're still years away from fully self-driving cars, car makers continue to focus on adding new safety features in a bid to reduce the risk of accidents occurring. Coming too late for the victims of Toyota's faults and long overdue, new Toyota cars can ignore drivers pressing the accelerator pedal. The accelerator suppression function is a new safety feature which ignores accelerator pedal input if the car thinks the driver pressed it by mistake. As Reuters reports, Toyota is finally responding to an increasingly common cause of accidents in its home country of Japan. With the population there aging rapidly, elderly drivers can get confused and press the accelerator pedal when they intend to press the brake pedal. Quickly Quickly responding to such a mistake is also difficult, which therefore leads to an accident. Toyota's solution is called an accelerator suppression function, and it relies on the huge amount of data Toyota has managed to collect from its internet-connected vehicles. This so-called big data can be used to determine in any given situation on the road if the driver really did intend to press the accelerator pedal or not. If it decides the wrong pedal was pressed, acceleration won't occur. But couldn't taking control away from the driver also be dangerous? With 15% of fatal accidents in Japan caused by drivers over the age of 75, surely new safety features are required. Toyota must be confident that its acceleration suppression system has enough data and experience to always make the right decision to help avoid an accident. New Toyota cars in Japan with this new feature have already been shipped, but it's not yet known if Toyota vehicles in other markets will also come with accelerator suppression. If it reduces the number of accidents in Japan this year, I'm sure Toyota will roll it out more widely. It's also important to point out Toyota already uses accelerator suppression in a number of its vehicles, but it only triggers if an obstacle is detected. Apart from Toyota's actions being despicable and unacceptable, I think that we should all take heed from Gladwell when driving an unfamiliar vehicle and make sure we know where the clutch and the gas pedals are positioned, don't you?